Well, hey guys, Chris O'Mealy here. Another edition of Super NintendO'Mealy coming at ya. Joined, of course, by Dan Peck, whose voice you'll be hearing on the stream.
That would be me right now.
Dan's job is to tell me which game we're playing next and provide some interesting information on them. So last week we did 6 games, and we're not going to be doing that again. I've made a decision here. We're going to cap this off at 5 games maximum. I did the research, and if I were to do 5 games a stream, it would be 145 streams, which is much easier than, 725 of them. But there are a couple of games that are going to get dedicated to their own weeks. So I'll cap off at 5, but it'll all depend on how the game is going here. So, Dan, before we get started, do you have any announcements you'd like to make?
We'll be seeing more streams soon because I just bought a new capture device that should be here. Well, currently it says Tuesday. So you'll be seeing me doing my Animal Crossing dailies and all kinds of stuff. So more streams coming next week.
Streaming Animal Crossing is fun. We had a good time. We did a New Year's Eve stream, you and I.
Yes.
You ignored your entire island to come hang out with me. Everyone was honored. You were also like 15 days into playing the game.
Pretty much.
And I was 2 years into playing the game.
15 like real-time days because there's that opening section, right?
Right.
Where it's not
real time yet. Like, it kind of is, but it kind of isn't, so. Right, so the name of the game here is Super Nintendo. I'm going to be playing the entire North American library, every single game. I don't have to beat it. I don't have to like it. I just have to play it. What's the first game you got for me, Dan?
John Madden Football.
So this is the game that started off the Madden craze.
It's the first one on a console. It was on the Commodore Amiga back in '88. Big deal about it because he wanted real football, and they're like, we can't do that. We could do like maybe 7-on-7. He's like, no, 11-on-11.
There you go.
And they're like, no. But they got it. They got it done.
It's actually a pretty nice digitized John Madden there. Hey, I made a Super NES game. That's actually pretty funny. Alright, so we're gonna just do game mode, regular season, sudden death. Ooh. One player.
So there isn't an NFL license.
So it's just whoever I want to be. Well, I'm gonna be New Jersey, obviously.
Well, I believe there's an all Madden team, so if you want to
get destroyed.
Well, if you want to be the all Madden team, they're probably the best team.
Probably. Who should I beat up? Philly? Philly. Turf or grass? Fair, snow, ice, rain, mud. Alright. So, because it's the first Madden game, I don't expect this to be, like, great or anything. New Jersey's got a good passing game. Philadelphia's quarterback is unstoppable. But if he doesn't do it, it ain't gonna get done. It's hard to generalize about the best players in the world. Anyone who claims he can is bluffing. In this game, everything's relative. Okay. So let's see if we can figure out the controls here.
Did that pregame show just say that Philadelphia was better than you in every position?
Pretty much, yeah. Huh. Yeah, there we go.
Nice opening. Nice kickoff, bro.
Alright, so...
Kick return.
So my choices are normal, hands, or fast. Let's just try normal, see where that goes. Okay. Incomplete. All right.
You supposed to be the Giants, or are you supposed to be the Jets?
I'm assuming the Jets. My team's green.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. We're gonna do
Birds. The thing about sports games like this one is that if you're not having a good time, we can stop after the first quarter.
Yep.
Or at halftime.
First down.
First down. All right. We're at the
First
40.
turn. Oh yeah, that was another thing he wanted. He wanted actual plays.
I can respect that. Oh, I just called an audible. Incomplete. So I think I'm getting the hang of it. I think once I throw the ball, whatever player it gets connected to is the one that I've got to look at. So, all right, that makes sense. Fumble. Defense recover. Gonna get these hands. 4-3 or nickel and dime. Oh, they threw incomplete.
Okay, because that guy was wide open. Go. Y is wide open. And he misses him anyway. Football games still use the same camera.
Yeah.
Which is funny because they don't use it for television, the televising of football games, though.
I don't even know what just happened.
Huh?
All right.
Went the wrong way.
It's all good. Honestly, I'm kind of just hitting buttons. It's no Tecmo.
Even nowadays, I do like what the game's like, hey,
Oof.
this is what you should do. And I go, okay, well, I look at there, and then I look at like what those 3 or 4 things say, and I pick the one I like the most.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then like the last few years, there have been like plays that like, hey, your team is set up for this play, or this is part of your overall scheme for this game.
Ooh, I tripped.
But you got back up and got like 5 yards.
No, I don't want to call audibles.
Just massacre that guy. So today's stream is going to be sports games.
Yeah, there's more.
And then
sports games.
if we get to a 5th game,
we'll see.
maybe not a sports game. So apparently, in the Sega Genesis, they have a New York City team, and that's supposed to be the Giants.
Okay.
So this game came out on Genesis in December of 1990, but didn't come out on Super Nintendo until November of 91.
That's crazy.
This game is in the World Video Game Hall of Fame.
Good.
The Genesis version was believed to only sell 75,000. It sold about 400,000.
Damn.
Get him! Good punt return.
Not really much to say about this game. It's fun, but I'm not a big enough football fan to really know what I'm doing and really comprehend it if I'm actually doing it well. Ah. Ran right into him. Still trying to figure out how to really, like, toss the ball and figure out where it's exactly going to go. But you know what? This is the first Madden game, and we know it gets better from here, so, like...
Give me a snack.
The time has said 1:59 for the entire duration that I've been playing. Oh, you know why? I forgot. I set it to sudden death, so it's whoever scores first. That's literally the gimmick I set it. It's not even a regular game. It's sudden death, so we're playing until somebody scores. Alright. Well, so there's a good chance I am going to lose at another sports game.
I mean, the baseball game quit for you
I know.
in the second inning.
The ultimate mercy rule.
That's gonna... Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't going anywhere.
Guess we go until somebody scores. They are in possible field goal range, so they might win on this right here.
Not if they keep throwing incompletes.
I might go for it where they are on a fourth down. Go for a field goal. You guys got a big leg. I mean, the ball's on the 36. So what is that? I mean, it's like a 50-yarder. 52 or something like that, but, you know, big leg. It's the Bourbon Bowl. You can't hold anything back now. They're going to punt it?
Why not?
That's going out the back.
I guess the AI isn't very good at this. That's good. Puts us on equal ground.
I mean, they've been missing easy passes, too. Is this going to be a fake, though? Nope, he actually punted it. And... Coffin kick! Nope. Touchback, though. They're at the 20. If you are doing much, but the ball is staying on their side of the field. So they're going to eventually get it if things stay this even.
Yeah. For sure. I got to make some ground.
And you just lost 12 yards.
Yep. I sure did. I like the sound effect.
Run.
Football games are a lot of fun in person, though. It's a sport I'm not super keen on watching on TV, but I will watch the hell out of football as a live game. Like,
Oh, just about every sport is better if you're there.
oh, for sure.
You know that the best in-person sport is like hockey. Hockey's insane.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Your guy probably would have caught that, but it switched you to him.
Yeah, again, early football game. This is what it is.
It switched the controller to you controlling him, and then he ran away. All right, they only gotta go 20 yards, 20-some yards, so they're gonna get it with a field goal if they don't make good passes.
Which they're not. There isn't really a lot happening right now.
Set. Cut.
Got him.
But at what cost? We're still playing.
Welcome to NFL Red Zone. We've got Philadelphia on the New Jersey 11-yard line.
Set. Cut.
In our sudden death overtime game of the day. He goes, hands it off. He moves up. He goes down and loses yardage. And it's now 4th down from the 22. Are they going to kick the field goal for the win?
This would be a good time to mention we've got the Multiversal Wrestling Federation kicking off.
Set.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
This is going to be about 43
There we go.
yards.
All right.
The kick. And the kick is up. It's good.
Okay. You know what? A little hard to pick up at first, but that wasn't bad. All right. What's the next game we got, Dan?
Our next game is RPM Racing. Now, I gotta tell you, RPM doesn't stand for revolutions per minute.
Oh, it doesn't. What does it stand for?
Radical Psycho Machine Racing.
Jeez. Because the 90s. It's an interplay game, so that could be hit or miss.
Saves.
Your car. Ooh. I like this one.
IndyCar? Car. Or the monster truck.
All right, here we go. Oh no, it's an isometric angle. Oh no, it's one of these controls. It's one of these controls where you have to steer the car in the direction of the track. Oh boy. These games were never ever fun. Oh, I just blew up.
Does this feel radical?
No, it feels stiff and unresponsive.
Does it feel psycho?
A little bit.
Does it feel like a machine?
You know what? Yes.
So 2 out of 3 ain't bad?
Oh my god, I blew up again.
You usblowed.
Well, purple's kicking some butt here, so...
We're beating it until you exploded the first time, then he passed you.
Oh, I actually thought he lapped me.
No. You were ahead for a while. You usblowed.
Yeah, so I guess you can explode by hitting the grass. Yep, you can definitely explode that way. See, racing games can be a lot of fun, but I always hated the way that these games steer. I think has always been an issue for me. Like, now I'm stuck. Like, I have no momentum to get up this ramp, so... I mean, they're early racing games. They can be forgiven. But I think that the best racing games are the ones where you're behind the car and you're making your reactions. Or even the ones with the first-person perspectives when you're in the car. Those can be really cool, too.
You explode. One lap remaining.
Now, it doesn't tell me what place I'm in, but I'm assuming I'm last. Because I don't remember passing anybody at the beginning of the race. Yeah, look, they're done, and I'm still going. There's not even, like, a mercy rule to let me just end it. Oh, my God. So if you have no momentum, you can't get over these hills.
I remember hearing about, there was a hill near where my mother grew up that a neighbor's car couldn't get up the hill.
My old Jeep had that issue when I would drive to our friend Mike Simsak's house, because you had to go up a hill to get there, and my old Jeep would start to struggle on the hill. It was bad.
Bad. I should redo that that road, that section. Is what
I don't think that's possible. It's the way the mountain's built. So I earned no money.
Just PGA? CWO.
I can't even play another track because I didn't earn any money. That's a shame. I don't really like these games, though. I don't like the controls on them, so I don't know if I'm going to play another track. I think we should move on to the next game.
Alright. The next game is True Golf Classics, Waialae Country Club.
Oh, good. I get to suck at another golf game. True Golf Classics. Okay. I know the Waialae Country Club games were on the N64 too, so they obviously had some kind of popularity. Or some kind of cash grab, or some kind of hopefulness behind them. Very tropical Mario type music, I like that. Tournament, stroke, match, or practice? Let's practice. Golf games can be a lot of fun if you get a good one. So let's see.
Hey.
Okay.
Look at this. This came out around the same time as another golf game, and this one has a 3D view.
Yeah. All right, so the wind's blowing 20 miles per hour.
That's a lot.
All right, so let's see. Okay, so X lets me look at the hole. Y is gameplay menu. Okay. Sure. B is okay. Trying to figure out, like... Alright, well, obviously I want to move over a little bit. Because I need to compensate here. Okay.
Compensating for something.
Alright, So we'll use the 1. Okay, stance. That should be fine. All right, max and minimum. Here we go. Oh, missed. Well, let's just see what happens. Nothing. Nothing at all. All right, let's try that again.
Do you even get it out of the tee box?
I don't even think so.
That's going to go nowhere again.
Yeah, it went absolutely nowhere. Shot is 4 yards. Wow. All right, so this is definitely
You have to
about...
go earlier than you think. There you go.
It hooked significantly, but at least it went somewhere.
Well, you got the win, and you also hit it on that side.
Yeah,
some,
true.
Too,
So let's angle ourselves.
you're going to have to extreme angle yourself because now you're going. The angle you would want to go is just straight for it now.
Yeah. You are correct. Ah. You can cancel? You can't cancel. Oh, and if you don't make a decision, you just miss. Okay. So once I screw up, I'm kind of stuck with what I got. Okay. That makes sense. I will accept that.
The wind didn't catch it at all for some reason.
Nope.
Well, now you're hitting it into the tree, so the wind shouldn't be as much of an issue. But does the video game know that?
Well, it doesn't matter because it didn't go anywhere. Once I get that minimum, I'm trying to maximize it, and it's not going well, so it's all a timing game. At least I'm back on the green. That's a positive. On the fairway, okay. 149 yards. So there's 59 yards to go. So I don't want to hit it too hard. It's going to go in the sand. Ah, yep. Well, Dan, should I use an open face club?
It's an open face club. The sandwich.
Open face club sandwich. Get out of there. Ah, it's still in it. Wasn't enough momentum. Which sucks because the hole's right there. $13 yards. Okay. So now we putt. Took 11 strokes to make that hole. Okay. Let's do another practice round. Let's choose a different course. Let's do number 7. Why not? I like that this game gives you the practice option, so I don't have to jump into a full 18-hole course and go nuts here. I can kind of enjoy myself with it. This is actually a pretty short course here. It's only 165 yards. Okay, so we don't want to go nuts here. but we do wanna nail it.
You also have 18 miles per hour behind you.
Yeah, so I don't want to go full max. Let's go there.
Like, I might even just use like a 9-iron.
In the sand. Okay. 24 yards though, so I want to get it out enough to get it over towards the hole.
Are you too good for your home? Man.
21 yards. All right. Or 10 feet. So we're going to putt. We don't want to hit it too hard.
Welcome to Lee Carvalho's putting challenge.
There we go. I made par on that one. Not bad. All right. Well, now I'm curious. What is the 18th hole? Because I got to at least play the last one if I get the choice. It's a par 5. All right. So the wind is blowing.
Dog leg left.
Yeah, the wind is blowing very much against me.
I can't imagine playing golf in Hawaii, dude. It's always just some kind of crazy wind, right?
I think so, yeah. All right, that's probably too much, but we'll do our best here. Ah, damn it. Well, too late now.
You got underneath it, so it actually went farther than it should have.
Yeah, that's true. Out of bounds.
Yeah, the wind just isn't grabbing it like it should.
Not really, no. Well, might as well at least go in the direction of the green. Yeah, it was a pretty weak shot. It's funny to go from par back to this, where it's just like, you suck.
You're gonna have to knock it right into the hole from here to make par.
Yeah, well, let me tell you what will not be happening. Oh my god. And there's no way to correct it. I tried hitting the cancel option to retry it. Looks like once you hit it, you're done. You have to go with the weak shot that you made. Weak sauce, bro. I was convinced that was going out of bounds.
It hit the cart path.
The wind grabbed it at the last second and put it back in. That's funny. Oh, it did hit the tree. How about that? Okay, so you can hit the trees. And here I thought it was just going to be... Oh, nah. Those are just digital trees, because I swear it went through them earlier. Alright, so we don't want to do that. So we better aim away from the tree. That was like perfectly centered on the ball. All right. Go aim. All right, I didn't get it perfectly centered, but I did get pretty good power behind it, so that should... Okay, it isn't a bunker, but we're close now, so...
This game came out for a Mega Drive, which means it didn't come out on the Genesis. It only came out overseas.
Damn. How about that? Okay, that could have been a lot worse. I'm going to say right now, I like this golf game better than the last one that we played. Be perfectly honest here.
They'd be telling you to pick it up at this point. You gonna chip it in?
Basically, yeah.
Almost.
Took 13 strokes. I'm going to say, yeah, I liked this golf game better than Hal's Hole-in-One. I will give it credit there. All right, what's the next game you got, Dan?
Super Tennis.
Now, tennis games can be fun. They can be.
It uses Mode 7.
And tennis is a pretty simple, intuitive sport, so, like, it's not hard to pick up and play a tennis video game.
Yeah, I'm looking at the review scores. They're all 80s and 90s.
There we go.
And the Russians gave it a 67.
All right, let's see. I'm going to be Debbie because that's the name of my crazy aunt.
Name of my crazy man. But she's supposed to DEBI.
Ugh, Mark. Bring it on, Mark. Let's do 3 sets.
Nancy is my mother's name.
Mark versus Debbie.
Play. Fault.
Oop. Okay.
Fault.
Ah, damn. Okay. Mark got me. Simple controls. Easy to pick up and play. Pretty good so far. I'm not doing well, but I can tell the game's fun.
Fault. Fault.
Change places.
Play.
They just put you on the toe. Okay.
Yeah, which is funny. So I can
I
tell
mean,
that
this
if-
whole point of like showing you the court changing, and it went back to the same side of the court.
I know.
They just moved. They moved where your character was, though.
Fault.
Okay, well, he faulted at least. That's good.
Fault.
Ah, double fault. Okay, so the...
So you finally scored because he fucked up twice.
You are technically correct. The best kind.
Fault.
Jeez, dude. All right, so the AI can kick your butt when you're serving, but then they kind of suck at serving, too.
So Mario is not your...
No, he's not. Well, is this a Nintendo game?
I mean, it's on Nintendo.
Play.
But it was made by...
Okay, so if I swing too early, I can't double swing, so I have to get the timing down.
Fault.
Tokyo Sosheki Toze.
No way I was getting that.
Cause a Nina Ray.
Went for the dive. Change
Cause
places.
a need to run.
Did that happen in real tennis? They actually just switch sides? Or I thought they just switched who's serving.
Play.
They don't say they switch sides, but not that often. I don't think.
Oh, nice power swing. There was no way I was getting that. So this game is pretty challenging. The computer's really good,
Play.
but it's actually fun. A simple pick up and play tennis game. This was actually a sport that I used to enjoy in gym class when we would have our tennis days.
Fault.
I used to genuinely enjoy playing tennis in gym class. Tennis and basketball. Because I always had fun playing basketball.
Fault. Fault.
So he's going to whoop my butt just because I keep faulting too. Oh, I can skip that. That's good to know. Maybe I shouldn't have said 3 sets because this is ridiculous. That wasn't a bad string there. He's got them power moves. Yeah! There's no way I'm going to make it to 3 sets getting my butt kicked that badly. You know what, though? Like I said, pick up and play tennis game. It's fun. I need a lot of practice at this one, but I would play this again. So that's actually pretty cool. What's the next game?
And our last game of the stream is Final Fight.
Okay. It's a beat 'em up, right?
Yep.
Mike Hager. Bring the mayor under control. Sometime in the 1990s.
Excuse me.
Jessica's been kidnapped. Got an interesting little story behind it. The Mad Gears must pay. Yeah. Okay. Cody or Hager?
Gotta be Jake Hager.
Hell yeah.
Whoop his ass. Quicker streams because we've got to our 5th game. Suplex.
Stop going off screen, damn it. There we go. Two P. Doug.
Good old German suplex.
He's a suplex machine over here. Wonder what the hat does. Oh, didn't see that coming. Dan, what would you say about these guys? What do you think Scott Steiner would say about them?
Long Hu. You know, like these ones where they named everybody?
That happens in a lot of beat 'em ups, I've noticed. In some of them, there's like, everybody's got a name. So you kind of know, this guy's Hollywood.
There are those that call me Tater Salad.
Are you Ron? Tater Salad White? You caught me. You caught the tater.
That's the funniest thing. He was drunk one night, and they asked him if he had any aliases, and he just made a joke. And then he gets busted again, like years later, and
They're
they
like,
have
"Oh."
the alias on his.
Oh god, hello. Thrasher. Where's Mosh?
I mean, that was like when I told a substitute teacher that they should call him Bob. But he was a permanent sub because my teacher had a baby. So he called me Bob for 2 months, for the last 2 months of the school year. Suplex. His ass. Hit him with a Larry. Yeah. The big Larry.
These games hurt your fingers, but they're fun.
I've always been a beat 'em up guy.
What the hell are you throwing at me?
I think that's supposed to be dynamite.
Focusing my attention on the boss man here.
The big ball man.
He keeps taking a breather. That did nothing.
Can't lock him, so he's a boss.
There he goes. He's done. Lost a
Power
few-
bomb, baby. So there's a big Pat McAfee event in Supercard this weekend.
You know what makes me happy about this stream this week, Dan? Nothing's gonna be F tier, and I don't even know if anything's gonna be D tier right now. We'll have to reevaluate in a minute. I like that I just keep suplexing this guy over and over again.
Got him. Jake, Billy.
Saturday Night Slam Masters has Mike Hager as a character in it.
Yep. Hey, it's Andre. It's Andor. Andor Jr.
I know he's not watching this, but my old weird coworker Waialae once called him Andrew the Giant, and he was fully serious about that.
We'll be talking about Andrew Everett.
No, he definitely wasn't. So I love that we're basically in New York City right now, because this is exactly what happens on New York City subways. Guys named Slash attack you and just...
The mayor shows up in his suspendees and just beats up gang members.
Obviously.
Getting wrestling moves from his past as a professional.
Also, I noticed that there's a time limit that apparently is relative. Because if you've noticed, hardly any time has actually elapsed. These are the longest seconds in history. Ooh, hello. I want that. Ah.
That's not right.
I've never been very good at beat-em-up games, so it's actually cool that I've made a little bit of progress on this one.
It's Andor.
And Billy. Bimmy and Jimmy. Ah.
Fuck! To Andor!
So I just realized Andor's the boss. And Billy's doing pretty good too. There we go. Is that Goro? Hollywood Hogan, I'm coming after you, you coward.
Hulk Hogan,
Whatever they call you, I'm coming after you, you coward.
Hot diddy damn Hulk! Don't set it off! Set it off!
Ah. Well, I gotta continue. Let's do this. Let's try Cody.
Oh yeah,
this
this is where you try to blow out the bomb. Man, Cody weighs like 100 pounds less than Hager.
Well, let's see how he does.
He's gonna be faster.
Oh yeah, for sure. Or he's gonna get his butt completely handed to him. Yeah, he's definitely faster, but he's a heck of a lot weaker.
And doesn't have as far of a reach.
He also doesn't appear to have really good jumping moves. I think I liked Hager better.
He also seems like he skipped leg day.
For sure. Yeah, I'm getting my butt kicked as Cody. I just accidentally hit the pause button. My bad. Oh, man. Yeah, Hager was definitely more fun. Power... In this type of game, I think power is going to be the factor there. I gotta remember, you hit Y once, you grab the knife, but if you hit it again, you throw the knife. And that seems to be causing me some problems.
What's causing all of this?
Damn you, Andre Jr. He's even got the Andre hair. That can't be coincidental, right?
No, it's Preston's mom. He's supposed to be. He's supposed to have.
Cody's reach sucks too. I noticed that Hager has a much better reach than Cody did. Like, I feel like I gotta get right up on top of these guys and they're getting the drop on me. I like how the one dude's name isn't even a name, it's just the letter J.
Scary name, dude.
I wonder if his real name is Jay, like Homer J. Simpson.
I remember hearing stories about, like, a friend of mine named this kid AJ and he got in trouble at school. And they're like, can you write your full name out? It's AJ. No, write it all out. It is my name right now.
Yeah, I knew somebody, their name was CJ, and CJ didn't stand for anything.
And so he's like, okay. And he was like, my name is AYYJAY. I mean, usually it's like, you know, whatever Junior, but they don't want to. They want to name their kid Junior, but without giving them
Making it obvious, yeah.
Without giving them the complex of being a junior. So they call them
I haven't even busted through Andor's shield yet. Cassie and Andor over here. There we go. Alright, well I beat Andor as Cody. I didn't beat him as Hager.
That show's starting with a 3-episode premiere.
I know, I'm excited though.
I'm like, geez, how many episodes are there? But I think She-Hulk's next week.
So I gotta admit, when I heard they announced Andor as a series, I wasn't really, like, excited about that. But now that I've seen Rebels and Obi-Wan, I'm more excited for these stories that happen in between the prequels and the original trilogy.
I mean, there's a lot that happened in between. There's a lot of time there. You know?
Yeah, there is.
For 17 years.
I know, there's a lot of stories to tell.
And then there's the, nearly 30 in between 6 and 7, so...
Elgato! Oh, I'm out.
No, I didn't get an Elgato. I got a...
Alright, back to Hager. Now, Dan, are there more Final Fight games than just the one that I'm playing now?
Yeah.
Tell us about them. And Final Fight's in Smash Brothers, right? Isn't Terry a Final Fight character?
The most recent Final Fight is called Double Impact.
It's called what?
The Final Fight Double Impact. It's been a while. So Robin Williams named his son Cody, and it is after a video game character. People think it's this guy.
Well, we know that he named his daughter Zelda. Final
Final Fight 2, 3, Streetwise, Final Fight 9, Final Fight Revenge.
Well, Dan, I'm going to tell you this right now. The only games that have been replayed so far were Mario World and ActRaiser, and that was mostly because they have save files so I can return to them and pick up where I left off. This might be the first game that I would consider a replay on that doesn't actually have a progress... Well, I don't think it has a progress meter. I didn't see, like, a save game or anything. I also didn't notice if there was a password system. There could be, and I just didn't see it yet. But I'm having fun playing this. I'm having a lot of fun playing this, actually. There's Andor the Giant again. So, one of my big strategies in these games is to try to take out the minions so they don't hit me with the extra damage. And then, like, I'll get the boss, I'll get him to get out of my way for a second, and then I'm gonna go take out the rest of the minions while the boss is distracted. When you're playing a role-playing game, Dan, who do you generally focus your attacks on? Do you try to get rid of as many weaker enemies as you can so they can do less damage overall? And then you can focus all your attention on the big one? Or do you try to get rid of the big one as fast as possible? Because the principle's basically the same. Like, I was playing South Park Stick of Truth, and there are levels where you're fighting, like, mutant rats in the sewer, and they also come with regular rats. So what I'll do is I'll focus my attack on a regular rat, because I know I can usually take them out in one hit. Yes, the mutant rats are going to do way more damage, but if I can at least eliminate the bigger threat, then I stand a better chance overall.
I usually go for one thing at a time.
Oh yeah, and you concentrate your fire, right?
Yeah, concentrate. If a teammate of mine goes first and they hit somebody, I go after.
That's kind of a Dungeons and Dragons philosophy, though, right? Like, focus your attention on something doing the most damage, eliminate it, and then come back around and start getting rid of the other crap. Not a bad strategy.
Got it. Andor's back?
Andor never left.
I have a feeling his mind is no longer in real condition.
Heh, nice. Time. And the subway has grinded to a halt. I gotta say, the music kicks ass, the sound effects are good, the graphics are really good. This is a good game. This is a really good game. And the fact that there are sequels, neat. And I know that there are a couple on the Super Nintendo. Am I correct, Dan?
I will 1 through 3 are.
There we go. So I'm going to be playing even more of this.
Yeah, Super Nintendo had Final Fight, and the Genesis had Streets of Rage.
Also, we're going to play Final Fight Guy, the rare Blockbuster exclusive that's worth some money.
Which also a pile of turds.
Oh, now we're in my element. This is the longest ring ever.
And
Katana wins with one hit. Because he got me right away. I had no health. Well, I'm not facing the boss as freaking... oh, damn, I gotta do the whole subway again. That's unfortunate. Oh, well.
The entire subway?
Yeah, that sucks.
Oh, well.
Well, I didn't have a chance against that boss. I had one hit left. And he had a sword. So one thing I don't think I've figured out yet, if you can even do it, is I don't think I can block. As best as I can tell, the ability to block does not exist.
Usually it doesn't.
I know that some beat-em-ups have them and some don't. And that's, you know, part of the strategy, but...
It's more of a fighting game thing.
Yeah. To the best of my ability, I have to get in my offense and then back up.
Alright, Chris, this is your last continue.
Yep.
So let's do a little bit of a wrap-up while you're playing.
You want to do the wrap-up now? Okay. Alright, so what was the first game we played?
How did you feel about John Madden football?
Alright, let me ask you this. What other games have I actually put in the B tier thus far?
F-Zero, Gradius, and F.
Okay.
Nothing has made A,
You're right. Well,
and only Mario World has made S.
Well, Mario World was going to be S tier no matter what.
Keep in mind, there will be better Madden footballs, and there will be ones with the...
Yeah, I'm going to go with C tier, because I think it was a good first showing, and just because I didn't really know what I was doing, the game was actually pretty fair. So, I'll say we'll do a C tier for John Madden football.
How did you feel about Radical Psycho Machine Racing?
I'm gonna have to go with D tier. The controls on those games are just not fun. And it's one of those control schemes. I could play that game a million times. I'm never gonna get used to those controls. They're just not fun. I don't like those steer in the direction type games. I understand for early games, like, if you're playing a game on, like, the Atari or something, I forgive it because it's an early game and that's what they're going for. But we're up to Super Nintendo now, and there have been other racing games that improve the formula. So I'm gonna have to go D tier on that one.
Okay. True Golf Classics, Waialae Country Club.
I'll give that one a C tier. It wasn't as good as HAL, but I would still pick it up and play it over that. Still, better golf games out there, and I might actually play one on this system.
So you did give HAL a D.
Okay, yeah, it was definitely better than HAL. I have a feeling C tier is gonna be huge.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Super Nintendo has a lot of average games. So...
Okay.
Not a bad thing, though.
How did you feel about Super Tennis?
So I'm tempted to give Super Tennis B tier, because I thought it was pick up and play fun. But I'm gonna trust my instincts and keep it in the C tier, just because of the fact that, while it was fun, it's still just a tennis game. And an early tennis game, to be sure. But, again, that's another one where I know there's gonna be improvements down the line.
I had a tennis game for Sega Master System, and it fit on the little card thing where you put it in on the front. Just a little card. And that was when the tennis game was on. It's like the same port you would put the 3D goggles in, you could put this tennis game in. And play tennis.
Hey, they can play Doom on a pregnancy test. So.
Alright, well, you're still playing it. How do you feel about Final Fight 1?
A tier.
This is our first A tier!
This is an A tier game. This game is fun. It's challenging and difficult, but the difficulty is all fair. I'm getting my butt kicked, not because the controls are bad, not because the enemies are cheap, but you also can tell I've overcome the learning curve. Each credit I've gotten a little further. So as long as I keep playing it, I'm gonna get better. Which is generally how beat-em-ups go, but this is a fun beat-em-up. I would pick this up and play it again, even over ActRaiser, even over F-Zero. I'm having a lot of fun playing this game, I will say. and I'm doing a little better with each playthrough, which is how.
Now look, you had one hit with no lives left. You now have 2/3 of your life left and 2 lives.
I hate having 3 kids and no money. Why can't I have no kids and 3 money? Ooh, he's got a good charge on him. He's a challenging boss, and I'm probably not going to beat him on this playthrough. But I would absolutely pick up this game and play it again. And I have a feeling the final fights are going to get better.
Yeah, you'll be able to play 2-player in the future.
So? Alright, very good.
Alright, everybody.
So,
Next week, we'll be on Wednesday here on Twitch.tv.
Yep, we're going to move back to Wednesdays. Dan's D&D game will be moving. Now, here's the real question, Dan. I'm going back and looking at some of these. Do I want to retroactively move ActRaiser up to the A tier because I actually want to play it again? Or should I leave it in the high B tier? Because I don't have a lot of interest in playing F-Zero or Gradius 3 again, but I gave them the same tier. So, how do I want to judge this? Because I might retroactively go back as perspective gets bigger.
Maybe.
Here's what I want you to do, because we're keeping track of this on a document, guys. I want you to put, next to Super Mario World, I want you to put the word replay in the next column. Okay? Because we know we're going to replay that. Next to ActRaiser, I want you to put revisit. That means I will replay and potentially re-rank. And then Final Fight, I also want you to put revisit. Now here's the reason I want to do revisit on Final Fight. I called it A tier because I was having a blast. If the future Final Fight games and other beat-em-ups prove to be way better than this and I'm having way more fun, I could see myself knocking this one down to B tier. I'm pretty confident with the rest of them, though.
All right, so also with next week, it will likely be a 1-game stream.
Yeah, it's going to be Final Fantasy 2.
It's Final Fantasy 2.
Which Final Fantasy was that actually, Dan?
Let's see.
I believe it was 4? I'm going to say 4.
Let's look it up.
I believe that's the one, yeah.
Final Fantasy 2. For the North American release of the 1991 Super Nintendo game C, Final Fantasy 4, yes.
Okay, very good. All right, so let me just quickly tell you guys where we are. We just played our 21st game. Final Fantasy 2 is going to be number 22. Here's the list through 30. Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Darius Twin. I don't even know what that's going to be about. Bill Lambier's Combat Basketball. That should be interesting. Super Baseball Simulator 1.000. This is a baseball simulator. We have a game called Lagoon. Then we have Super Off-Road. That might be a much better racing game. Super Castlevania 4, which I know some people are going to say I should dedicate a whole stream to, but the Castlevania games can be very challenging, and I don't know how far I'm going to get in them before I get frustrated and decide to move on. Then there's a Home Alone game. Now, I had the Home Alone game on the NES, and I hated that game. Hated it. So I'm hoping Super Nintendo's Home Alone is a much more fun game. We only have the first 100 games currently listed right now, Dan, but I'm gonna keep adding to the list as we go down here. But yeah, Final Fantasy 2 will be next week. There's a very good chance that'll be the only game we're gonna play. That could be another one that gets a full stream commitment. I know games like Mario RPG and The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past are going to be full commitments because they're long games and they're classics. They're 2 of my all-time favorite games. Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island is going to be in there. Probably Super Metroid, Kirby Superstar, just to name a few. Not sure what else. We'll have to keep going here. But yeah, we're going to play a little Final Fantasy 2 next week. Once again, quick reminder. The Super NintendO'Mealy series is playing through the entire series, But I will play other games for other systems, specifically NES, Game Boy, Sega, etc., if I get requests. Patrons, patreon.com/clubkayfabe. I will honor all of your requests. So you just have to throw something out there, and if I'm able to get it and play it, I will. And then if we decide we want to visit other games, Japan exclusives, Europe exclusives, we will throw those in as some bonus content. And we might do bonus streams where we log on and do a stream, maybe like on like a weekend night or something, maybe like a Saturday night stream. Depending on Dan's schedule, of course. Or maybe a bonus during the week at some point if my schedule allows it. And that'll be like the revisit to Mario World, and we'll continue making progress in that game. So we'll be doing a couple of revisits there. So replays, Mario World, that's one we're going to absolutely replay. And then revisits are games that we might replay and potentially re-rank. But Mario World, I'm confident, stays in the S tier. Well, we'll wrap up the stream this week. Check us out on YouTube. And check us out on CKCC Radio, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Any other plugs you'd like to make, Dan?
I think we hit them all.
Yeah, we do Sporkle quizzes. Eric and I do a two-man podcast. And we're going to start launching some wrestling content for the channel. The Multiversal Wrestling Federation, which has all kinds of wacky matches. Not just wrestlers either. Pop culture characters. Basically whatever we want. Maybe we'll download a Mike Hager and make him wrestle Cody. Cody Rhodes, that is. So yeah, check us out. Keep supporting us. We appreciate you guys. And we'll see you next time.
Does Hager have adrenaline in his soul?
I guess we'll find out.